Hello everyone, Xandero Gaming coming at y'all with another video, and yes, the laptop was charged, so we got the Union Arena Locals gameplay video coming for you. In the first round, we do have the Hashira deck going against a Blue JJK deck. I do know that the player on the right is very new to the game. He just got a structure deck, put it together. Before this round though, we did not know that he hasn't updated anything else in the structure deck. So after this round, we all did take the effort to, give him some more cards to let him, kind of upgrade the deck. But let's see how this one goes. He is just able to start out with the 0 energy and then play the 1-drop Nobara, which makes you bounce back a 1-drop. And then we see the Hashira player able to swing with the early Love Hashira, get a free check-in, and then he did also play the double energy that makes him have to bounce one. In the Hashira deck, seeing the Love Hashira early on is a really strong card because you can pay 1 AP to make her, I think, 4,000, 3,500, something really strong. So then you're able to apply a lot of pressure to your opponent with that. Playing down 2 characters here, he was just letting the player know that that Nobara is a different Nobara and does not make you have to bounce a card back to the hand. We are seeing him play out a, wow, he had a lot of 0 drops. Another Love Hashira, able to swing with the Hashira, get a check. That was a get trigger. And then now the Blue JJK player finally gets to go to the 3 action points. He's just telling them here, you got this much energy that you're dealing with at the moment. The Blue JJK deck, I think is a great deck for anyone who is, trying to get into the card game. The structure deck is really strong. If you buy 2 of those structure decks and put them together, I think you have a very strong, competent deck. Now, you may have a hard time, trying to get people to trade you the Yujis, since the Yujis are very sought after. But he is playing the event here. Wow, very nice. Able to draw 3, trash 2, and he was able to trash 2 of the fingers. Is going to play down the Gojo, which is going to let him bounce something. This Gojo actually is really good. I'm surprised more people don't run him, but it makes sense, right? You have other cards that can do the same thing, and that also, can bounce stuff back to the hand, but if we ever get any future raid Gojo support stuff, he could be a really good card to play. But just showing him that your characters come back to active, getting to swing in with the Wind Hashira, seeing a final trigger, so not able to do anything. That Wind Hashira there, the smaller one is really strong, and it catches a lot of people off guard because it is a double attacker, and a lot of times that can come up. Now it is only 2,000 BP. But it being a double attacker comes in very sneakily. You need to keep up and keep track of that card, so you know what's coming at you. I've seen a lot of people playing against Hashiras and not realizing he's a double attacker, and then maybe mismanaging the way that their turns go and miss out on it. And then the other Hashira goes up to 4K on your opponent's turn, which is really strong. Is playing a Divergent Fist here, so he does not have a Yuji, so he's going to let him play down a Yuji here, so that way he can play down the Divergent Fist, which does help him out for sure. Going to tap the last AP to Domain Expansion and get back 2 action points. Looking at his hand here, very unfortunate that he does not have the Raid Yuji, but like I said, he just put the structure decks together, so he does not have that card currently in this match, but is able to play out both of the Megumis to minus the BP on that double attacker, which is really good play. Play that character minus 1,000, get to kill a small body. Is able to get a check in there, and surprisingly enough, he has a pretty decent field out with these 2 Megumis. The Gojo providing a pretty decent blocker or big body, and nice. The Hashira player playing the Love Hashira, she gets to minus 1,000 for each character in her line. He does have the 4, so essentially able to pop most bodies in the game, other than, a lot of the big green cards. He does have pretty good energy going on here. Doesn't have the Sukuna in his hand from the starter deck. And to be honest, in this starter deck, there is, the big Megumi that you can drop down to that bounces something to your hand, or clears one of your opponent's characters, I think, like, to the bottom of the deck or something like that. That Megumi is actually a pretty decent card. Not a bad card at all. So if he could have saw that maybe this turn, he could have cleared a body off the board and provided a lot of damage here. But now he's going to have to try to swing through some of these bodies. This is one of the best cards in the entire deck. I love this character. She lets you swing when attacking, draw one, trash one. I think in Blue JJK, if you see her early, you are able to, you know, get a lot of damage out on your opponent, or just getting free swings and making them have to block her, right? And then cycle in your deck. Not able to get a lot of damage in on this turn. His character's just not beefy enough, but the Hashira player is deciding to, you know, block through and out. The Blue JJK player only has 1 life, and then going to miss out here because he's going to love Hashira, kill one of the bodies, and then Hashira tries to kill another body. Going to swing and block, and unfortunately not seeing a final trigger, but GG's there on those 2 players. Going into the second round, we do have the same Hashira player on the left, and then the Muzan player on the right. This is the same Muzan player who won the tournament, I think, 2 weeks ago, so you can check out that gameplay where he takes this Hashira deck to the finals once again. So starting out with the 0 drop and the Muzan, who lets him cycle a card out of his deck. The Hashira player is able to see that love Hashira again, and she can provide a lot of pressure, right? Get early swings in, and then if they provide a body that's bigger than her, if you want to take the early action point to pop up to a 4K, you can. He does see another small lower demon in his hand. Is able to see the Purge, which is one of the best cards in the deck. Lets you pop a body, get the action point, draw 2 cards. It does let you cycle. It's just going to play the Enmu, which lets him draw a card whenever a character is sidelined. So he's got a decent amount of stuff going on in a sideline this turn. Is able to play the Toshiro on the Hashira side. That Toshiro just says if your opponent has a purple character or a blue character, you get to play him for cheaper. So able to, you know, steal an early 2 energy play character in the game. Swings in a life, just hits a Purge. Is able to do the Purge again to kill a character, draw a card, get the AP back. Is able to do the Muzan's Blood to get the AP back. So pretty decent turn here for the Muzan player cycling in. It looks like he's close to 9 cards in the trash, I think. Just going to play the Muzan here, and then going to raid the Enmu, lets him draw 2 and trash 1. Probably just wanting to get the 4K body on the board. He is looking like he's at 11 if I counted that. This is moving pretty fast. I did speed the video up, but unfortunate that he checks a love Hashira here, which is going to keep that Enmu tap down, which he was wanting to put out for a 4K blocker, right? He does have the Geisha form to block and that Enmu to block. And now it's looked like he's probably going to have to take some damage here on this turn unless he gets some pretty wild checks in his life. Just going to move up, draw the card, and play 2 characters down. 3 characters down this turn. His energy line is set up, and he's going to be pushing a lot of bodies on the board. Nothing in life, going to block through 1 here, and then just sees Enmu to add to hand, not able to raid anything, so took a lot of damage there. You don't want to see that as a Muzan player. He hasn't been able to wall out his small bodies and use them to block and keep himself alive. Just checking the trash here, because anytime you play against a Muzan player, you definitely want to be keeping up with how many character or cards they have in their sideline. Once they get to 20, the Muzans are online, and he is a 5K damage 2, impact 2 game finisher. The Muzan player just trying to see if he can manage to put up a defense. Is going to go with the Akaza, trashing another Akaza, so that'll be 2 Akazas in the trash the lower 3. And then is going to use the Muzan to cycle a card out of the into his trash. With that, he does move up the Muzan. He's able to move it up because he killed the Tione. Going to kill another character to cycle again here, and gets to draw and trash 1. I think he's at 20 here, but he does not have a Tione on the front line to move this up, right? But he does have Snipe Impact with the Akaza. Is able to swing with the Muzan, providing 4K damage here as well. Ooh, another good check for him with the active trigger. Gonna block out 1 more body. So the active trigger helps him out a lot there, not having to lose a body or take another life. He is at 4, but he is going to have to deal with the Muzan next turn. Reading what that Guillaume does, and it's really strong. I think that's the one that is the 4500 body. Really strong character to have. You don't really ever want to play him onto your front line because you don't want them to kill him. But now he is going to get to play the stone Hashira here that lets him play one, and I think that he's just going to choose not to do it, and then use his Hashira child to sideline one of the characters. Going to get the Emu since it is 45. Swinging in here, probably just thinking about his turns here, about if he wants to kill anyone. Going to take this life here too, and does get to draw a card. Now he does get to try to move this Muzan up if he would like to, but that would mess up his energy line, so he probably doesn't have any plays if he moves the Muzan up, so probably not able to do it this turn. You see that here. Ooh, he has the Teone though. I maybe would have moved the Muzan up and then, or just played the Teone up front and moved the Muzan up. He's playing the Teone in the back line, and then maybe trying to use the Muzan's effect to sideline the Teone to let him move up the Muzan. Is going to raid on the Emu here, so he can draw 2, trash 1. Then going to use the Emu or the Muzan's effect to get rid of one of his characters to then allow him to move up the Muzan. Is swinging in with the Muzan here, 2 damage, and oh no! Another unfortunate checks for him, getting tapped down with the Love Hashira once again. That is good checks. Now the Toshiro is going to tap down the Muzan, not going to be able to unsuspend at the end of the turn, and it does look like that is GG's. Really good back and forth game there. Life makes a difference sometimes with those characters getting tapped down. But in the final, we do have Hashiras on the left and another blue JJK player. Just starting with the Snake Hashira, and then on the blue JJK player side, 2 drops, and then wow, hits a special trigger first check. That really changes the pace of the game for sure here. Just going to take the extra draw and play down the Yuji though. So not able to capitalize on this. Is able to play down the Wind Hashira like we talked about before. The Wind Hashira is cheaper because he has a blue character. And now he does, I think, sorry there's more of a glare this time. I'm not sure why. We didn't change anything on the settings, but he has the Water Hashira out, which cannot be sidelined this turn. And I do think that if I could see clear enough, that is the Wind Hashira that is the double blocker. Is going to go off on a finger here, able to play out another Yuji, gets the free cycle, gets to domain expansion, gets to go into the Sukuna to let him draw the cards, and trash 1. Just choosing to trash the Nanami. He's got a decent amount of stuff. Wow, another domain expansion. We're really able to pop off early in the game here, getting these extra turns with the domain expansions. Is playing the Nanami out, and then going to Divergent Fist, the double blocker here, because I do not think that he can choose the Water Hashira. Is swinging into life here. Nothing crazy going on, but he does have a Sukuna and a Nanami out, so he does have some blockers on the board. Is going to play the Stone Hashira with Lisham, then play out another character, and then now he's just checking the BP in the characters. Just gets a final trigger. Nothing in the hand for the Hashira player. Oh, he does have a card in hand. Okay, he just doesn't have very many cards in hand. Blue JJK player just looking at his sideline, trying to see what he has in there. Not a bad start for either of these players here. Is going to take the extra draw on the blue JJK player side. Trying to decide if he wants to move that Gojo up, and he does. Oh wait, that's not Gojo, that's the other guy. Sorry, it kind of looked like Gojo. But he is moving him up. Wow, another Divergent Fist. That's going to be one we've seen out of life now. And then the second one now that he's playing from hand. This is very fortunate for him to see some of these kill spells. Just trying to decide which one he wants to kill. I think you have to kill the Guillaume here, only because it poses a big body that is always going to be a threat to your characters. Now I can't tell if that's the 4000 or the 4500 Guillaume, but either way, getting rid of one of those bigger bodies is really, really important. But he may be trying to think about how pesky that double blocker is going to be later in the game. But him not being very strong BP-wise, maybe what are you thinking about here? Definitely a key turn of the play then. He must not have a ton else going on in his hand if he's thinking this long about what he wants to sideline here. Still thinking about it. He is going to go with the double blocker. And just gets one check-in. Going to play down the Nullify Impact on the front line, and then just boosting the Love Hashira by 1. is getting a swing hin, just adding the card to hand, and does have to block the other one out. Looking a little behind here. Hopefully he can find something to play. Is going to do the Nanami. This Nanami is so good in the deck because you are trashing so many different cards in your hand and from your deck to, you know, cycle through. And then with this Nanami, like letting you just get rid of those cards so that way you can draw 3 cards is absolutely so important in the deck. And it definitely fixed this hand because you see there now he found a Yuji, is able to swing through here, swings with the Nanami, gets blocked out by the Guillaume, and that's the case where this 4500 body is posing a threat for him now. And then now choosing to lose the nullify impact, which may come up in this matchup because Sukuna can definitely get impact from his oh wow it's a Yuji in life here, going to choose to bounce a character. You do not have to move up, but now he is going to be under pressure here. Right now he's got all these big bodies on the board. I don't think that these Nanamis are online yet because his deck is still looking pretty stacked up, but either way the Nanami's not rated, right? So he doesn't have to worry about getting that sidelined effect on the Nanami if he kills it. Is just going to blade down the Nobara to cycle. Maybe thinking about if he wants to play another character on the back line, is going to play the Yuji down so that way he can raid on the Sukuna and get rid of that Nanami that was just a 4K body. The Sukuna is letting him, you know, cycle cards. I'm not sure if he's on that yet. I would assume not at the moment. Is just going to swing in and does hit a Hashira trial here. Going to choose to get the Sukuna since the body is going to pose a problem with the impact later. But maybe could have saved, you know, one more check here too if he would have just sidelined the other character. Is going to, you know, get a draw off of the insect Hashira here, moving up his characters and just choosing to boost the Love Hashira, which is pretty important here, right? Like I said earlier, this Love Hashira has been on the board almost all game. You keep paying the 1 AP, get you a 4K body. And now he's having to think here if he wants to take the Guillaume hit, which he does. This is the color trigger Nanami, I think. Wow, very unfortunate here. Seeing the color trigger, able to bounce. Now he doesn't have to lose all of his bodies. He's able to block out. Very fortunate life for the blue JJK player in this game, getting the 2 specials and the color. He is only at 1 life though, so he's gonna have to do something here to try and push this state of the game. That way he can, you know, close it out. He definitely has to close it out this turn, or I think the Hashira player can definitely try and get the, you know, crackback coming on. But he does have a Yuji on the back line. He can just move that up if he wants to, and it'll apply another 4K body, which is exactly what he's going to do here. Going to pay 1 AP for the Nobara to cycle 1 from the hand. Playing another Nobara to cycle here. These are the really cool arts on the Nobaros here. I like these a lot. We know that he doesn't have any special triggers though because he hit 2 in life and he played 2 from hand, so not able to kill these bodies. And yes, we are seeing here that 4500 Guillaume is posing a problem because it's a free blocker every turn. But maybe he didn't want to deal with that smaller character earlier, which it must have been the double attacker, right? I know I couldn't see it very well, but it had to be the double attack Wind Hashira if that's the reason he took it out, because that double attack would have, you know, put a lot of pressure on him. The double blocker wouldn't have been a big problem at all. So it definitely had to be the double attacker now that I'm thinking about it. It still has 1 AP in hand and is looking through his trash, trying to think about what he can do. He's looking at all the cards that he removed from play as well from that Nanami. I think if he doesn't have a Yuji to do anything here, just going to play another 4K body on the board. Is swinging in, nothing in life here. Should be able to block out through all these other characters. Choosing to block, loses the body, and still has 2 bodies up. So he should be able just to move up and try to attack to clear the bodies here. He does have 4 bodies though, right? So shouldn't be able to do anything, but is going to Love Hashira here to kill the body on the board, and does have the impact. So the Hashira player does take the win He's been working really hard on this Hashira deck. Here is the list. Really cool. He has been trying really hard to, you know, alt out this entire deck, and he's getting very, very close. I think he's close to doing almost every card that you can get for it, but this is the list here for him. Pretty cool toolbox decks. If you have not played Hashiras, I definitely recommend it. That's the video. You guys, please leave the video a like, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. I love making all these videos, and they're so much fun. I'm glad I got to do the gameplay videos this week. Peace.